So as a review, what's the function of the cell membrane?
To control what comes in and out of the cell.
It controls what comes in and out of the cell. Now this word, selectively permeable, what does that mean?
It means that the cell membrane kind of decides what goes what enters the cell.
Good. It selects what can come in and what can come out. It selects entry and exit. It only allows certain things in. Now, what makes up a cell membrane?
Phospholipids.
Phospholipids. And look at the picture. Along with the lipids, what else makes up the cell membrane?
Protein.
Proteins. Good job. It's embedded with proteins. And these lipid layers consist of polar heads and non-polar tails. So I'm going to zoom into a lipid, which is right here, and explain what the polar head is and the non-polar tail. Does anybody know? Polar. What is that? When you hear that word, what is it kind of related to?
Polarity, so it's polarity.
Which means what?
Which means
It's descri-
happens. Literally polarity. It's not only
I think of like the opposite, like the North and South Pole.
That's good.
like a magnet.
Yes. What else? Water is a key here. The head is made up of phosphate, and the tails are made up of fatty acids, okay? Now, based on the fact that I just told you the tail is made up of fatty acids, what do we know fatty acids do?
They insulate.
They can insulate. Those are a type of lipid, more fats and oils. Repel water. Good. I'm going to follow. If I'm to point to this right here, what am I pointing to? This dot. Who could tell me? The head. And right here, the tail. And what about all of this right here? What? No, this would be the cell membrane.
Those are the phospholipids.
Correct. Notice how I put here bilayer, because there's one layer there and another layer here. You see it? Two. Bi means two. So you should be able to see that membrane and understand where's the head, where's the tail, where's there a protein. Proteins are easy. They're like structures that look like they don't even belong there. They're like embedded in between the phospholipids. And then one side is one layer and the other side is the other layer. Alright, so this picture is showing you a carbohydrate trying to enter into your cell membrane. Or through the cell membrane, into the cell. Maybe the cell's right here. Here's a better description. The red dots are what? Let's go over it again. The head, and these little lines are tails, and this is one part of the layer, and this is the other. 1, 2, okay? Now, the hydrophobic tail means it doesn't like water. Hydrophilic head likes water. So they kind of flip this picture. This is the bottom part of the layer. The head, water loving. And the tail, since it's made up of fatty acids, you're going to remember that it's water hating or repelling. And this helps you understand how does water travel in and out of the cell. Well, since there's a layer on each side, one part of the layer can be pushing water out and the other part can be pushing it in. The key is why and when. Okay, that's the end of this whole unit. Understanding why is the cell constantly allowing things in and why is the cell constantly pushing things out. So let's construct a cell model. I guess we play here. Review, not learn, parts of the cell membrane. And this is kind of like a tutorial and it explains the cell membrane. So this is like a visual, like a nice spy. You have to pay attention. We know it's made up of what? Without looking at the words. Don't look.
Phospholipids,
Phospholipids and
protein.
proteins embedded, okay? Here is a picture of a phospholipid, and then you've got different types of proteins. Because it's like semi-permeable, it allows certain things in. Here's the structure of the phospholipid. You've got a bilayer with tails and heads. Tails doing what?
They're hydrophobic, meaning they don't have as much fear.
Away, water away. And the heads?
They like water.
They like the water. Here are my fibrous proteins, right? I think that's what it said in the previous slide. Yes. Squiggly lines. Then you've got your lipid insoluble water molecule. No, it says globular proteins. And then you've got, and you're never going to have to know that. Specific types of proteins, just any strange looking object is a protein. And there's other proteins, integral proteins. And there's the whole membrane or a piece of your membrane altogether. That's cholesterol molecule, which is what? It comes from what? What? Fats. That's easy. And fats come in and out of your cell as well. All right. So now we're going to put the cell membrane together. In the next page. Who can click on the part that forms the frame?
Click on it.
Here.
Oh, did I actually do it?
Correct.
That's why I keep this
Who can click, and it's going to form it for you. Who can click on the hydrophobic heads?
Bless you. Well,
Bless your soul.
I'm sorry, hydrophilic heads. Good. Who can click? I'm sure. What's coming up next? Hydrophobic tails. Good. Who can click on the fibrous protein? Here's where the ice spike kicks in. For good memory, right? Who can click on the protein, for protein? I didn't remember seeing that one. Oh yeah, you have your own slides. Good.
It's not correct, but I don't.
Who can click on the channel protein? Good. I think we got the picture.